Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's a Mad Hatter logging back in, reporting live from the event Horizon. And I'm sorry for the wait. I'm sorry for the delay. Like my man Lil Wayne said, I'm sorry for the wait, baby. but I want to talk about this issue right now that's happening, that's popping up in the news. I saw this on Instagram, didn't believe it, but now news outlets are starting to pick up on it, and I kind of want to just like parse through it just a little bit, right? So before I parse through this fucking mess, I do want to talk about, like, isn't it funny, like, when you look throughout history in the United States, American history, the atrocities that happened to black people, it all came down to what? It was always some black person who whistled at some black dude who whistled at a white chick and ended up getting killed for that shit. Emmett Till, or the whole community ended up getting fucked up, right? You got Emmett Till. Allegedly he whistled at a white chick. We found out actually that that's not the case, that the bitch lied, but she's still alive and nobody's trying to kill her or go after her or bring her to justice. I had a video on this. I'll show you, I'll link to that video. You guys should see that one. This chick got away with basically lying, but no one cares. You got the Tulsa race riots in Oklahoma. My boy, the Gap Band, you dropped a bomb on me, baby. You dropped a bomb on me. Yeah, that's Charlie Wilson, Oklahoma. What they're talking about is the Tulsa race riots, or so I've been told. But they're from Tulsa, and that allegedly is the first instance of where the United States government dropped a bomb on its community, with the first recorded instance, right? And how did that happen? Oh yeah, a black boy, guy, whatever the fuck, hollering at a white woman. Now, it's funny because this situation I want to talk about now, when it comes to, it's these white chicks and their chaperones from Pennsylvania. They're high school white chicks, had chaperones, and they chose to go to D.C. D.C. is called Chocolate City. It is a predominantly black city. Prince George's County, Maryland, is a predominantly black county, and it's one of the wealthiest. I might be mistaken, but I do believe that it is the wealthiest county in the U.S. So it is almost like a modern day Tulsa. So you have all this historical blackness and people of color and strong people of color, mentally, physically, and economically. And these white women from Pennsylvania come down there and don't know what they're getting into. But I think they're trying to start shit, right? That's my opinion. They're trying to go down there and start shit, but I'll get into more of that. So let me kind of lay the groundwork for this. So they're from Pennsylvania. At least two of the chicks that the media has been talking to are white chicks. Young white girls, okay? 16, 17, I think. And they had their chaperones bring them on a trip throughout D.C., right? It's funny how white people can go to D.C. and they don't even realize that black people exist in D.C., right? Isn't that funny? So they go on this trip, and they're wearing Make America Great Again hats. And they're surprised that black people respond a certain way. So my biggest issue is, how the fuck are you on a trip and you go down to D.C. and you don't realize that wearing Make America Great Again is going to get you in some trouble? And not only do you go to D.C., but you go to an all-black college, an HBCU. That is one of the blackest. P. Diddy, my nigga P. Diddy is from Howard, right? One of the blackest colleges, places, especially colleges, and you're not aware of that. So I'm looking at the chaperones and the teachers and the supervisors. How do you not know this going in? You take these women, these young vulnerable chicks, these young vulnerable women, girls, whatever you want to call them. You take them to D.C. looking to start shit. I blame you. I blame the chaperones for putting those children, those girls, in a very vulnerable and dangerous position, right? Because you should see the shit that happens to black people in D.C. for even looking at another nigga sideways, right? So I put a lot of this onus on the chaperones for fucking that up. I think they fucked up. That's like me going down to Utah or Indiana wearing a BLM shirt, a Black Lives Matter shirt. I know there's certain places I can wear Black Lives Matter. I'm not gonna go up in the fucking the backwoods in West Virginia wearing Black Lives Matter. Yeah, I can say, hey, I believe in free speech. I believe in the Constitution. But them niggas gonna have me swinging from a motherfucking tree. Shit. So officials responded, to this. Obviously, they have to do this shit. So they responded. They say, look, this is a place where we can discuss various viewpoints. These are officials from Howard University. They say, look, this is a place where we should discuss various viewpoints. But then there's also students that wanted their safe spaces. My thing is like, no, fuck your safe space, man. Some students were like, this is the one place in the United States where black people can feel safe being black. Nah, not necessarily. Because there's a lot of black on black crime that happens in D.C. Trust me. So I don't really know what that chick was talking about, but this black woman, was talking about. But at the same time, it's like that's not really a safe space to begin with. And you really should not be going to college to be in a safe space. I get it, you want to be around other black people, but you should not be going to college to live in a safe space. Anyway, so one of the high school students, her name is Allie Van D. Allie, right? How much more white can you get? Like, really? That's some ghetto shit. That's like white ghetto. It's like the opposite of like a nigga being named Eddie. Like, you ain't even gonna name the dude Edward or Edison. That nigga's name is Eddie. That's his name. This bitch's name is Allie. Anyway, she says, it's not fair to us. She's 16 of some Pennsylvania high school, right? She says, it's not fair to us to be judged as racist and homophobes. We should be protected by free speech. You are protected by free speech. But being protected by free speech doesn't mean that you are protected from consequences. Like, they think that just because free speech protects you, that, like, fucked up shit can't happen to you in life. Nah, man, like, that's also, like, it's not just, like, a white person thing. Like, not every white person, obviously, but this is not only a white person mentality. This is, like, a white chick. This is, like, a woman's mentality. It's like, just because the government protected me means that you can't fuck with me. Like, just be, like, like women always talk about, because they're dressed a certain way, they shouldn't be raped. I totally agree with that. If you are dressed, I don't care how the fuck you're dressed, you should never be raped. But guess what? Rapists exist. That's not going to protect you from rapists. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, you can dress as slutty as you want. That's not going to protect you from rapists. You might be protected under the law, but that's not going to protect you from the actions of regular people. Right? So she says she shouldn't be judged as a homophobe. Obviously, whatever. But my thing is like, yeah, this is a good lesson to learn that you might have free speech, but you are not free from the consequences. This is a great lesson for those girls to learn. So another student, Sarah Applequist. Like, man, these are like are these are these women are these girls real, man? Sarah Applequist, come on, bruh. So she says she got her hat ripped off. Look, I never condone violence. She should not have had that happen to her, but at the same time, it's like, you're lucky it wasn't worse. Like I said before, you're lucky you didn't get killed. Because I know niggas that go down to D.C., you look at a nigga the wrong way, you step on his shoe, that's it. You look at his girl the wrong way, you even speak to his girl, that's it. There was a case recently about, I think he was a president of Howard University, and he ended up getting killed. But he was, I think honestly it might have been an anti-LGBT crime, because there's a lot of gay black people in D.C. and I think they might have killed him because of that, because he was outspoken and he was very enthusiastic and charismatic. But anyway, he got fucked up. But you didn't see Fox News and BuzzFeed and everyone reporting on it at that time. But some white girls show up and create quote unquote the culture war, and it's like, it's a big deal. First off, there's no such thing as a cultural war. There's no such thing as this shit. Like, we just have more access to technology and we see this shit more, but there's no culture war, man. There's none of that shit happening right now. So don't believe that shit. Trust me, don't believe that shit. The last point is that, this one girl, she goes back and forth. She goes back and forth about what she believes and what she doesn't believe, and like what happened and what didn't happen. And apparently, she's being coached behind the scenes, like in an interview with a media company. You could hear like someone in the background coaching her. So I don't believe everything that she says. I'm trying to like focus on the facts, but she did say that they didn't have in the plan to go to Howard University, but they did have in the plan to go to the zoo. So my thing is like, wow, was this like some sly way of being like, oh, we're gonna go to the zoo, but not the National Zoo, but the Howard Zoo, like Black People Zoo? If that's the case, man, then fuck all these people. Not the students. It's not their fault, but the parents. Again, going back to my original point, the parents, the supervisors, for leaving these children out there, these young adults, I'll put it that way, on their way to being adults and leaving them out there to be vulnerable. So I'm gonna leave that there. That's all I got to say. Let me know what y'all think. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of y'all gonna be like, "Fuck you," but whatever. Fuck y'all too. I don't want to be like that, you know. But give me your honest opinion on this situation, and I'll catch y'all guys on the flip side.